Hey everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of A Girl, a Glass, and a Grievance. So, I'll probably do these once a week and focus on issues that I think haven't gotten enough attention and that I am personally pretty enraged by, and I think that the rest of you might be kind of interested in learning more about too. So, this week, wait, hold on. I think this takes a drink first. Yes, so this week, I want to talk to you about House Bill 1318. And this is going to look backwards because, well, I have my video in my hand and I didn't think about that before I started the video. But anyway, this is House Bill 1318. And this is a bill that has moved through the Indiana State Senate. And what it would do is it would make it possible for the city of Gary to put in place a construction landfill, although they don't really want to use the term landfill, in the city limits near residences for construction debris. Now, this bill was introduced by Representative Ed Harris, who is up in that area. He represents part of Lake County, including portions of Gary, and apparently the people who live in Gary weren't aware of this bill being filed until the day of the public hearing in the Indiana House Committee. So, first off, this is super fishy, right? Why wouldn't you ask your constituents what they want if they want this? They say it is in order to be able to demolish old buildings in the Gary area and lessen the amount of money that has to be spent per demolition. Right, so they always make it sound like it's totally fine. And this is for the good of Gary and for good economics and job growth. Typical talking points. So essentially, this would allow them to put fill from houses like this that they're tearing down into a area, I suppose. We'll go with that instead of a dump. And it would take away that restriction of having to have a half mile between the quote-unquote dump and surrounding residences. So as you can imagine, people in Gary, once they found out about this in surrounding areas, were a little upset. So they showed up to Legislative Town Hall and they told their lawmakers, look, we're not really all that keen on this. And it turns out that, of course, some people are starting to walk back their support of the bill a little bit, looking for doorways to get out of. And it's just really frustrating because Gary, as many of you know, is an area that has serious challenges economically, and it is the typical audience that suffers from environmental injustice. They don't have the money to necessarily speak up for themselves. They're historically put at a disadvantage by any sort of industry that exists. A good example of it is Gary is the site of what we call the J Pit, which is a former sand mine. HEC has worked on this in the past. By the way, disclaimer, this video is not on behalf of HEC. This is entirely my own. I only bring up HEC because of their work that they did on the J Pit. And if it weren't for grassroots action, if it weren't for community activists, that J Pit would have been filled in with industrial fill a long time ago, which would have been hazardous. And so what we need you to do is to contact your state senator and encourage them to oppose House Bill 1318, because this passed easily out of the Indiana House, and we do not want to see it move forward, and most of the residents of Gary don't want it either. So contact your state senator, ask them to oppose House Bill 1318, and cheers to all of you. Until next week, I'm just a girl with a glass and a grievance.